Peckerwood, this is a real thing. So it's a lecture on peckerwood, and peckerwood, not what some of you are thinking. This is not blasphemy, this is not rude or derogatory. What this really is a old dead tree that is used for nesting. It's also called a wildlife tree, saved for nesting, do not disturb. So here's this is a nice one here. This is at South Beach at Goldner's Park and Alouette Lake, and there's been preserved there a huge big peckerwood in the middle of the picnic area. And there's lots of bird holes in there. So again, it's labeled as a wildlife tree, but otherwise known as peckerwood. And not to be rude or not to be swearing. But in the old days, we used to put up birdhouses, but now they put up peckerwoods. And here's a huge peckerwood tree full of holes and several more. These are left deliberately in parks for the birds and wildlife to use. There's a lot of holes in this one with many nests possible, and not just for the woodpeckers, but other birds and other animals also use them, and giant lichens grow on these. These are several feet across. These are huge ones on peckerwood. Here's another peckerwood there. You can see the top of the tree is missing. All it is a log stuck in the ground or left in the ground. And then the animals can attack it as it's decaying, make burrows in it, use it for their homes and their nesting. Mushrooms, fungus, lichens can grow on them, and these can also provide food for other animals. Here's another tree covered in mushrooms, which are a type of fungus, obviously. Here, these are deliberate peckerwoods set up in a park, and they have signs on them to do not disturb. Here are two deliberately implanted peckerwoods in another park, and you can see these are very nice old timbers. They're dead, and they have lots of holes in them. The woodpeckers and other animals and other birds peck on them and make the holes larger, looking for insects, making a home for their nest, storage for their foods, etc. Here's a close-up of some of the holes that have been pecked in a large peckerwood. Here's a huge hole in a large peckerwood that would make a nice nest, probably for a giant woodpecker. And some more holes. You can see the birds have been pecking at the bark and opening up the inside under the bark. Here's another giant peckerwood. Another one full of holes for animals, birds, woodpeckers. Love this kind of thing. And several more set up. These are usually in parks, but people can have them in their backyard. This is another one in a major provincial park. It's covered in mushrooms, and here's another one. These are good homes for the woodpeckers and other bird species. Here's another example of a giant tree trunk used as peckerwood. Two peckerwoods here, shown side by side. Excellent areas for nesting, and the birds love pecking on these things. Here's another one. And another one again. Lots of them around this area. They seem to have been developed in the last decade or so. Used to put up birdhouses, but now they put up peckerwoods. Here, this is at Pitt Lake in the main boat launch area. There's several peckerwoods there, quite a few peckerwoods actually, with signs on to do not disturb the birds, and actually it's a conservation area for birds and other wildlife. So here, this is Addison Slough, and there's peckerwoods here. And here, this is Blaney Bog. They've implanted these peckerwoods for the wildlife there, the birds. So here are the woodpeckers working on the peckerwood, and that's one of the reasons they put the woodpeckers in this area, and they like to nest in this area is because of these artificial peckerwoods that they put in. So peckerwoods are a real thing. Other birds do use the peckerwoods. Other animals use the peckerwoods. And again, plant life, fungus, mushrooms, such as this, also love to grow on the decaying peckerwoods. So please respect the peckerwoods. This wildlife tree is safe for nesting. Please do not disturb. And don't be offended if you hear someone say that name, the peckerwood. It's not a bad name. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your support over the years and currently. I appreciate all your help, and especially that of my patients. And thank you for the awards that have been honored to me. Thank you from the County of Los Angeles for the most productive county employee. This was back 20 years ago approximately. And also for medical toxicology and the Patient's Choice Award. This was 2014. And appreciation from teaching at high schools, etc. Okay, thank you for your support. Have a good life.